Y'all listen to the show this morning?
Yeah, at least the first couple hours.
Yeah. What y'all think about it?
Thought it was better than yesterday for sure.
Yeah, no, it was definitely better. And actually, I'll go to Reddit after, and they're happier.
I haven't been in there at all, but yeah, I thought he did a pretty good job. The whole crew did, really.
Yeah. What time y'all go on? 8 tomorrow?
8 a.m. Yeah.
Gotcha.
All right. Were you still checking on something, Jerry?
No, just that last subscription that came in. So Chantel got it. But Danny, you did not, and I did not.
Yeah,
Yeah, so there got to be a break at that distribution list.
there has to be. Where's Todd?
I don't
When
see
Todd gets in, let's have him check it.
Okay.
I think he set it up for us.
Yes.
Hey, Todd, did you set up the business at Sircles.com distribution list for us for those emails that come in there to pass through to like me and you and Chantel?
I believe so, and I think I did some testing already with you guys, but let me double check.
You did. It was working, but right now, like Chantel's receiving them, but I'm not. Jerry didn't. I don't know if you got the one yesterday when a business owner claimed at 10:52 a.m.
Let me check. Oh, it doesn't look like I did. So, but Chantel got it, and only Chantel looks like.
I got it.
Okay. All right, let me take a look at that. See if I can find out what's going on.
Cool. All right. Well, John, are you present?
Yep.
Cool. Just nothing. Just didn't want to start without you because I haven't been a part of these every single day, so I don't want to get started without you.
Yep. That's
All right. Amit.
Yes, Danny. So today I work on the missing images part. So I run the script 90%, like in 2893, 90% we did not find image zone. So only 10% we found using that Google ID, missing one.
And how many? Wasn't there like 1,000?
So like we all total we had, I will tell you the count. 2,893 were missing images. Like we don't have image for that places in our database. So I run the script and I found like 90% or 2,500 places we did not find using Google ID.
So
Image.
found 90%, or you found 10?
No, not 10% only we found. So,
And
2.5K places still doesn't have image. 2.5K.
okay, so it's those Google places don't have images?
Yes.
Interesting. Okay, I guess there's not much we can do about that. The businesses are still open, but
If you want, I will send you the list of that place.
sure.
Okay. So I will send. I'll create a CSV file and I will send it to you.
Okay, and they're all places that are still open for business?
Still open for business. How we can check that? So we need to go to one by one.
Maybe just take a sample.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
curious if maybe that's the reason. Yeah, take a sample and see. Maybe that if you check 5 and all 5 of them are closed, then you probably check another 5 and
Yes. Yeah. I will do that. And I will check. I will let you know.
okay, thanks.
Thank you. And apart from that, I don't have anything.
Okay, all right, thanks, all hey Ismail, I wasn't understanding what you were saying about well, I think I was with the slide animation. We're talking about the one with the dog after you fetch the contacts, is that right?
Correct.
And the problem is just the end slide out.
Well, any animation. So the problem is this. The whole dock component is rendered conditionally if it's loading. Like there's a, there's is loading
Yeah.
state. If that's true, you'll see the dog. After that's done, you'll start seeing the other pieces on the screen. Does that make sense?
Well, there's nothing on the screen except for the dog animation and then the text.
Well, what's after is where that is when you see the people you want to follow, that checklist, that's part of that same screen.
Right. Okay. But without making any changes, it was working okay. What is the problem now that we want to add one more line of text?
So it's not that you want to add. So here's the thing. This think of it as a loader.
Yeah.
Right, like like how that hard loader you have. So think of the Zog as a fancy loader.
Okay.
So once it's loading, you'll see it. Once it's unloading, you'll hide it, and also whatever's behind it, like the actual list. So because it's rendered conditionally, when you want if that state is false, boom, it's hidden. It's a simple if statement. Now, if we wanna
And that would be
do
that
it
would be where the user denied the contact permission.
no, we're talking about the screen recording I sent you. Remember how I asked you about, hey, how does this look
Yeah.
with the text
That's-
change and everything?
Yeah, that's right after a user we're fetching their contacts, right?
Correct.
So
And even if they're not, even if they denied access, they'll still see the dog body without the text.
then why? Okay, then that's the reason I'm asking is then why would it be conditional? Wouldn't you always see it?
It's conditional because when it's loading. So you have that screen. If you're in the loading phase
Yeah.
of the API, it's still loading. So it's loading if
Right.
you're uploading and after it calls that query to get you that list. Because you don't want to show an empty list and then have it populate after.
Okay. So
Are you following the flow? Like you have the dog, and then after that you get the list of people you want to follow. Like you can,
Yep.
yeah.
no, I know.
So that loading is for uploading the context and for waiting for that query to finish.
Right. But you're saying that the animation is conditional. Like if it's false, you
Not
just don't
the
see it.
animation is conditional. If the loading, if the loading is true, you'll see the dog. If loading is false, we hide the dog.
And right, okay. And the only time loading would be false is if they deny contact permission.
No, it would be false after it's done fetching the query. So it's loading. It's just like any other loading. Like
Okay.
so you have the loading is keeping track of two things: uploading contacts. If they deny now uploading, that would be part of the loading. The second part of the loading is that queries, which it needs to see if, hey, does this person have any people in that list?
Okay.
So whether they accept or deny, we're still going to run that query because you can deny contacts, but you had accepted it before and you still have people in that list.
Okay.
So what I'm trying to say is that loading would be true when the uploading, either the uploading is happening or the query is getting called.
Okay.
So that tells us when to show the dog, when to hide it. Now, let's say it's done fetching, we hide it right away and we show the other component. Now, if you want to add an exiting animation, that's where it becomes a little tricky.
Yeah, we
Uh,
abandoned that idea last week, remember? Because it was causing.
Oh, but I thought that what you meant by can we make it slide left?
No, you have it sliding from the right and then they go different directions. So I just wanted to
Yeah, it goes to the right, then it goes back to the left.
yeah.
So like when that
stop
text,
this.
okay, so you wanted to actually change the text of okay.
Yeah. I just wanted to
I
set
thought
something-
you wanted to add an exiting, like when the whole thing's done, it goes to the left.
No,
I thought that's what you meant.
no. I hope you didn't spend too much time on
Not a crazy amount, but
that.
I did put some effort into it.
You know,
uh,
I just wanted to go off the screen to the left before the other one because it goes off. It comes in from the right and then it goes back to the right, which is weird. It should come in from the right, from right to left, and then exit
Mhm.
left, and the other one comes in from the right, right to left.
okay, so you want
You
to
know, I
just
said that
change
all exited at the end, but
the
we don't need to do that since it's causing
Okay,
headaches.
okay. That's doable. That's fine.
Okay, and I wanted to just speed it up a tiny bit. You have a
Speed it-
property you can apply there, like
Speed up the actual
the
switching of
sliding.
the.
Yeah, like
Well, I kind of delayed it because when I speed it up, it's easy to miss. Like the change, like it can change, and like when I did it first, it was actually faster. I was like, wait, what? That already happened? Like I almost missed it. Where when I did a little slower, I was like, oh, I see it moving.
we're talking about just the text sliding.
Yeah, I know. So what
And
I'm
you're
saying is,
saying when it was faster, it was you didn't like see any of the frames.
no, you see it. It's just like if you're not like actively paying close attention to the text, it's very easy to miss.
I
Like
mean,
when I
that's
was doing it, but when it's a little slower, it's like, oh, you see something happen on the screen. It's like, oh, catches your attention. Oh, let me read the new text. That's the only reason I made it a little slower.
actually what was. Is there a default that you changed? What was the default?
I don't remember the exact values. I think I increased it to, let me see here. Um, so the sliding, I have it to like 300 milliseconds at the moment.
Okay,
I
what is
think I
it?
might, huh?
What was it?
There's no default. There's no default. Like I have to set the value. I just gave it like I think it was like maybe 200 or 1.5,
I see.
like 150. So where I was like, okay, well, yeah, I mean, it happened, but it felt a little too quick where it's easy to miss. Like where this one was like, oh, I see something happening on the screen. It catches my attention when I read it.
Yeah.
This just made it a little slower.
300. So about third of a second. Okay. Yeah. I mean, maybe just slightly faster. Maybe let's make it 250.
Okay.
Okay. For both of them,
All right.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then I guess when the animation is done, the whole thing, the text and the animation they basically just disappear.
Yeah. It'll behave like the way it always did.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fine. It's not like really that big a deal. Okay. So then, is there a timeout at some point?
Yeah. No. Well, because we wanted to have the users finish fetching their or uploading their content. So as long as it's uploading, they're going to be on that screen. So unless they either fails or it succeeds, then it moves to the next screen.
Well, the reason we had that timeout was because we didn't want it to stay there indefinitely, right? If there was a fail.
That was initially the case, but then we learned that if the user has 3,000 plus contacts, then they're not gonna they're they're
But
not gonna upload their contacts.
it could still fail for other reasons, right?
It could.
We don't want it to just be stuck there.
Well, it won't, that's what I'm saying. If it succeeds or if it fails, it will go to the next screen. Like eventually, the upload will either succeed or fail.
But then how come that wasn't our conditions last time?
Well, our conditions last time were like this. After 15 seconds, we go to the next screen. So we kind of interfered with the uploading process.
I get that. But if we
Okay.
why it sounds like we didn't even need it though if it failed. Were we just trying to I thought it was because like sometimes it can fail like um in a stealth way, like where if we didn't have some kind of timeout, the user would be stuck on that screen.
No, I think we kind of maybe thought that 15 seconds was enough time for anybody to upload their contacts, which turned out to be not true. But right now I have it where it's if it's a promise, and it would eventually either fail or succeed, like regardless. When it
How
completes,
do you know if it fails?
it's a promise. So if the promise has to either fail or succeed, it can't keep going on forever.
Can it fail? Like, I guess
Even
I wouldn't want it to
even
fail
if
like a false positive, like if
it
there
doesn't
was like
matter,
a
false
slow
positive,
network.
it won't matter, right? Because as long as it completes, That's what we're waiting for. It's a promise. As soon as it's complete, we go to the next screen. And by completing, it could be a false complete, it could be a false negative, false positive, whatever you want to call it. It completed. It's done. We go to the next screen.
Okay. Um, it sounds like there's still possibilities of not a misreading on that. Like if what if there's a slow internet connection?
Like I said, if it's slow and it's uploading, it didn't break the promise or didn't break the mutation.
Yeah.
They'll just take extra long until they're done.
How does the promise
Um,
say, like no, absolutely no internet connection, or no internet connection for a certain amount of time?
Well, when it comes to internet connection, the promise does depend on the backend. So I'm not sure how that mutation would behave. I guess the backend would be better able to answer that.
Okay.
But basically, what that promise is, it just waits for that mutation to finish.
Okay, let's talk it through a little more with Jerry, because what I don't want is a surprise a month from now again, where we're like, oh, actually, we're not getting the contacts as much as we thought because if they get a weak signal, it just moves on. Jerry, can you help?
So if they have a weak signal, then it would time out trying to call the API. But if that call, if the client times out, then that should still fail the promise. Like even if we don't hear from it. And so basically, if they have a weak signal, they upload, and this is kind of also why we did batches, so we could start uploading processing. So like the data is not streamed. So the difference between streaming and processing is streaming means we process the data as soon as it comes in. So if you send 500 contacts to us, it's not streamed. It's not like it's uploaded in tiny little sub chunks. We're not uploading each contact individually as it is seen. So the back end, this works is that we wait for all 500 contacts or however many it is in that batch to be received. And then once we have all contacts, and it's basically that's just logic, deep core logic saying, okay, hey, I'm done sending contacts. Then we take it and then we process it. And then once that happens, we can handle everything from there. Even if you lose connection after you upload your contacts, the backend will still continue to process the contacts as long as the backend has connection to the database.
Yeah, but what about in the case where while it's batching?
Well, while it's batching, let's say you lose a connection while it's batching. Let's just say, we'll give an extreme here. It takes 10 seconds. And 2 seconds after you finish uploading your payload, your internet disconnects. The backend will continue to batch. Like the backend's going to continue processing. However, because your app or your device lost connection and it cannot fully reestablish that connection or whatever, it will fail. Like it will show as failed, but the backend will keep processing it. But with that,
Processing what it has.
what's that?
It'll process what it has.
Well, okay. So if it's going to process whatever it has in that batch, and like I said, we only process it in complete batches. So we're only going to start processing as soon as we have a complete payload.
How does the backend know it's complete?
That is deep web server logic. I don't know how to explain it. It's just basic web server knowledge, not basic knowledge, but web server logic that a payload is ending. Like it's like a terminate character or something saying that's the end of the payload.
Okay.
And as soon as we see that character,
Okay.
then we start processing.
Okay. So that could be less than 500. It could be 300.
Yeah, whatever. Well, yeah, whatever it is. So like basically imagine it like a JavaScript Imagine it like a JavaScript array. There's an opening bracket and there's a closing bracket.
Mhm.
And we go character by character until we see the closing bracket.
Okay.
So data is
So-
streamed in until we see that closing bracket. And then the second we see that closing bracket, and then we run with it.
Okay. So if there's 300 contacts, there'll be a closing bracket or the equivalent at the end of the third 300th.
Correct.
But if there's a delay or a disruption from the front end before the closing bracket can be added, then what?
Well, then the front end should attempt to reconnect and retry that request, which
Okay.
Aldo has that logic to retry the request.
Mhm.
Once it has the request, like once that closing bracket is sent, then we're going to process the contacts and then within however many seconds it takes, give a response.
Okay. I am skeptical. This has been a battle for years to get this right. And it's super hard to identify when it doesn't go right because like one batch might come through. And then like obviously we're all testing, all our contacts have already been uploaded. So it's like we'll never notice on ours, like, but someone else might say, why am I missing some contacts?
Mhm.
And when this has happened, and it might be happening right now. I mean, obviously we know there was a problem with this timeout situation.
Mhm.
This has been
Well,
ongoing,
thing
unreliable.
is, John, we're not introducing anything new here in terms of like so like the way the backend works is
Mhm.
still the same. The only thing we did was remove that 15-second limitation, which
Yeah.
causes it to I guess cancel.
And
Um,
I ran some more tests with we used Diego's contacts. And his contacts now under the new server configuration, they're taking anywhere from like what 4 to 12 seconds.
But you're on your emulator, like you're the close to the machine, like the
No,
database.
I'm doing a full end to end. I'm creating a mock client and I'm calling the actual production server. Like nothing's running locally. I'm simulating as it would from an actual device.
It's crazy that it went from a minute to 12 seconds. I don't get how it could be so much different.
Well, we doubled our capacity. Well, we doubled our capacity on the database for CPU processing,
Mhm.
and we also doubled our processing on what's it called? Um, disk operations. We doubled our disk operations per second. That could definitely have a noticeable difference. And I mean, I would say I ran somewhere between 40 and 50 tests.
Okay.
And those are results I got. I never got a timeout. The only time I got a timeout was when I purposefully coded a timeout to test it.
Okay. Well, so then the case where so we're removing the timeout. I guess I don't want to have a user just get stuck on that screen. Is that possible?
Well,
well, theoretically, they shouldn't be stuck because if the promise completes, regarding if it's true or false, which it has to complete, like the promise will never not complete. Is there a scenario, Jerry, you can think of where the promise is not complete?
I cannot. The only thing I could say is after 10 seconds or something, we show a button that the user can click to proceed, but then we give them a modal saying, hey, I'm still working here. You won't be able to find, you won't be able to find your friends in circles. We won't have all your friends yet.
I think they're gonna go for that more than you think. I'm gonna lose that advantage of
Well,
having all their
we, have-
contacts.
we show the button after like 15 seconds. Then, yeah, we wait 15 seconds and then show the button.
Well, 15 might not be enough. I mean, what if there's a weak internet connection? You know.
It's not a lot of data. It would really have to be spotty.
So the bottleneck isn't batching it from the front end. It's the back end processing it.
Yeah. I mean, it's I took all of somebody's contacts and I parsed it out in a format that we'd be sending it in, and the JSON was like 300 kilobytes, like a third of a megabyte.
Yeah, it's nothing.
Yeah, it was relatively nothing.
So that is that transferred instantly and then it's batched, or
correct that. Well, we take it. So let's say it's 3,000 contacts. We split it up into that would be 6 chunks of 500.
Yeah.
Each of those chunks of 500 gets sent to the it gets sent to the back end.
from the front end. So that takes time.
Yeah, it definitely takes time to process. Most of the processing most of the time happens from the back end.
Okay. So once it's already received.
Yeah, so once it's received, then we can run with it.
Okay. And then, but we don't want to. So we would, the front end waits then for that next screen though to show.
Yeah, the front end knows how many batches it completed. Like
Mhm.
the front end knows how many batches are sent,
Mhm.
and it would know when they're all complete or it fails. And the logic that I went over with Ismail yesterday is when they all complete, we go to the next step. And then if it fails right now, it doesn't have any retry logic and it goes to the next step. It does, I think it shows a toast if it fails though.
What would cause it to fail?
Uh, I would say anything unexpected could be like a network timeout, could be your internet connection is just that bad. Maybe you got no bars. You got it could be the database has an issue processing the numbers, that there's some new issue. I mean, if that happens, if it's an internal issue, we'll see it in Century. But
Which I want it to be able to keep going if there's a low signal, because you might be out at a busy retail location, but the signal's not that great.
as soon as we get, like I said, as soon as we get that closing bracket, we run with it.
Yeah. But I just don't. I want it to try. I don't want it to give up on the first. Like if there's any if sometimes the connection can drop just for like a few milliseconds.
Well, Apollo should be handling that. Apollo should handle that logic, and I think we're trying 3 times in case we like.
Okay, is that the case, Ismail?
Oh, what exactly? Sorry, I was a little bit distracted on.
Let's say we're in the middle of making a request, and our
Mhm.
connection drops just outright.
Mhm.
What logic is there, if any, to retry and ensure that that request goes through?
Well, currently we have 3 retries.
And that would happen if we like just drop our connection, correct?
Yeah, they would happen like I think a second of apart, but after 3 times, it would just fail.
Okay. Okay. And I mean, should we have a timeout? Like just set it to like a minute and a half or 2 minutes or something, just to be safe?
Okay, so I would say anything over 15 seconds, even 15 seconds might be pushing it. You're definitely going to lose someone. You're going to lose somebody if you keep them stuck on that screen.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like we should have maybe here's another suggestion, just so they know that the app is we need to give them some visual feedback to know,
Well, that's what we're doing. We're adding another line there.
okay, there's another line there. Because
Yeah.
one thing I've seen from some apps, like if it's a really long job, it'll take like a bunch of like different text, like a whole bunch of different sentences or phrases, and it'll like slide one out and it'll slide another in.
Yeah, we actually did that a while back.
Yeah.
It's something like said some funny things like searching your contacts, searching for Bigfoot, searching for meaning, and like different like things.
Yeah, that could give the user more visual feedback that like the app isn't broken. But if you just kept them on that screen for a minute, like they're gonna, I can almost say 99% of people are gonna drop off after 30 seconds.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't want to mess this up. It's been a thorn for a long time. It's kind of there's always something going wrong somewhere. Um, so we're good with just no timeout at all. There's no risk of that being a problem.
Well, that's why I said with no timeout, then what happens if it takes 30 seconds? I'm almost thinking like just to prevent people from dropping off. If it takes a really long amount of time, we should almost give them a button to press to keep going.
Or just moving forward, which was what we did, but we moving forward too quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What?
Could we also consider that if they do skip, like if it does time out, we show that step later in onboarding? It's going to mess up. Like it would be I would say, a moderate effort to put in this. You know, if it takes a while, maybe after the SOT step, which I mean, the SOT is still dependent. Maybe we show them.
No, that's gonna get too complicated, and it's like it's gonna be so rare. It's just we just have to get the right balance. I would say there should probably still be a timeout, but maybe like 45 seconds. What do you think, Ismail?
I mean, I don't know in terms of like the UX experience, what that's honestly.
But aren't you worried
But
about there being no timeout at all?
uh, yeah, I guess there's a chance that the back end might take a very long time. That is a possibility.
So
So
let's
having a
just
timeout, I guess, would be safe, but I don't know maybe what number we want to have the
let's just set it.
timeout on.
I'll pick a number. So let's set it at 45 seconds. And how many seconds is the delay before we see the sentence where it's like, "Whoa, you have a lot of contacts."
Well, so here's the thing. Also, you need to understand with the timeout. The timeout, if it interrupts the upload process, it's going to interrupt also the next screen, which is the people you're going to see on that list.
Yeah, no, I've already seen that happen. It still showed the screen. It just said follow 0 people, and that only was there for a split second, and then it just went to the next screen.
Yeah, so because they didn't successfully upload, so they're not going to have people on that list. So the timeout will cancel both the upload and the query that gets you the list.
Well, wait, how did we ended up still getting all 3,000 of those contacts, right, Jerry? Even with a 15-second timeout, and it took a minute.
Yeah,
It was because what happened is it still kept uploading in the background.
yeah.
Right.
There's
The user, yeah, the
So
user
that'll
when he
still
called,
happen.
yes, but the user on onboarding will not get to see it or experience any of that.
Right. What
Because
happened is, and I saw this already once. They saw the screen where it said follow, but it said follow 0 friends. Then it went to let's build your circle of trust, and then the next screen actually had contacts there, and then that user actually added contacts to their circle of trust, and so they did still batch and come in. So everything still worked kind of in a broken way, except like the most important screens, which didn't work, which they would have followed. They could have followed like up to 60 people, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is unfortunate. That probably won't happen now with a 45-second timeout and the better server we're on.
Mhm.
But if it did, they'd still see contacts on the next screen. So, but at least there's a timeout of some kind. So there's no like just total dead end in the worst case scenario. And it'll work the way I saw it work, which wasn't ideal, but it was better than getting completely stuck in onboarding. That's the last thing we want.
And
So
maybe if you're gonna add a 45 or 30-second delay,
Yeah.
then if we're gonna take that risk, then maybe Jerry's idea of instead of just canceling everything, we can add a skip button. Therefore, if the user does want to wait, we give them the option to. But if they're just done, they can just skip.
I think it'll be very unusual for it to take that long. I don't want to add any more buttons or anything like that. I think this is just really the most rare edge case, worst case. Let's just leave it at that. It's I predict it will pretty much never happen. Because there's no reason why it should. Because if it fails, it'll go forward, right? Ismail?
Yeah,
Okay, so it could fail in 10 seconds, right?
it can.
Yeah, so if that's and that was already how it was going to be. There was going to be no timeout at all. So it was going to be just based on that promise being true or false, which it still will be. But the failsafe is the timeout. So let's just set it to 45 and um, hopefully we'll never see that happen. But I'll be checking. I'll be watching session replays and seeing if anything like that ever happens. Um, but my question also I didn't get answered was how long is the delay before we show that second line of wow, you have a lot of contacts?
I think
Um,
Amin's working on that, right?
No,
Ismail?
Ismail's working on that.
Okay.
That's a where is it? Oh, that's 15 seconds.
15. Okay, let's reduce that
Mm-hmm.
down to
10.
yeah, or even 8, maybe 8 seconds still a long time.
Maybe by testing, 8 was the average that it took to upload that big contact book.
Right, that's right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to 8.
Okay.
Okay.
8 it is.
And that'll be okay, we'll be safe there. And I'll keep an eye on it. Okay. So that's that. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. There's more odds and ends here that let's discuss. So Jerry, help me out here too. There was shoot, I gotta go back to our messages. What were some of the little odds and ends that we were needing help on the front end?
Yeah, let's go through the list. Okay. Um there was on the entertainment search that if you're searching and you don't get any results, it just like goes back to the default view.
Yeah.
That one where you said you were searching for what was it? You were searching for a movie and you typed in electric state or no, you typed
Yeah.
in state and then it did not show on the favorites tab, but it showed on the check-ins tab.
Right. Isn't that simply just it's the wrong query there?
It could be, yeah.
I think that's all it is. Wells said he fixed that, I think. You just messaged me a little bit ago. Is that fixed, Wells?
The search and the favorites bill?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. And I am just sending you another screenshot right now.
Okay.
I made it so besides showing the search, we also show the recommendation so we keep the user engaged. And I will add a message when there is no search found.
Say that again?
I think I will add a message for showing when there is no search found. Like if
No
you're searching
result. Sure.
results.
Yeah, okay. That'd be good. Why can't we just use the exact same query that we're using under the check-in pill?
Not sure I followed the question.
It works fine if you're under the check-in filter. Everything works
Oh,
fine.
yeah. Yeah. So the query is right. The backend is returning the right data. We are just handling it in a different way for checking and for favorites. And in the way the favorites is done, it was like ignoring that search. So that's why the search was not being
Yeah.
displayed,
So-
and it was showing only the other stuff. So it was an error on the front end.
Right. So my question is, why can't we just do it the same way we've been doing it for the check-in under the check-in filter?
We can. That's what I'm doing now.
That's
I
what you're
am.
doing.
I am.
I think it was as simple as that. So it was a pretty easy fix, right?
Yeah, and also like the checking it would show only the search result and nothing else, and the favorites would show only everything else besides the search result. So I mixed both. So now if you look at the second screenshot I sent you, we show not only the search results, but we also show the other recommendations since they're there already. So we keep the user engaged. So the screen
Okay.
is kind of like cooler, more filled.
Okay.
So share my
And
screen.
like if I search someone's name, I will be able to see their favorites, right?
Yeah. So this is the search working, right? Before the favorites wouldn't have this.
Mm-hmm.
And this is how it's currently looking. So it shows the matching for your search, and it also shows the other results. And if
Okay.
I search for a user, for example, I like using John W because it's search for a movie. So John Wick. So I have
Right.
movie
Good.
matching my search, which is John Wick, and I have also John Worthington's favorites here.
Perfect. And if you hit check-ins, is the same?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Okay. Okay, great. Were you able to get the scroll view to work? Did Amin help you with that to be able to scroll underneath the search bar on that modal?
Scroll underneath the search bar on that modal. I'm not recalling that.
A modal, like, okay, so you add, friends, you add a favorite, sorry, and then it's a list of friends you might share that favorite with, and you can add, there's that button you added to add more
Okay.
people, and it pulls up a modal with a list of people,
All right.
right? And I asked you to make the search bar.
Oh yeah. Make the
When I left you guys
bar
yesterday,
and buttons being fixed.
yeah,
Yeah.
when I left you guys yesterday, I wanted you guys to work on that. Did you guys fix that?
Nope, not really. But we did figure the issue that Jerry sent on the development chat about the next button not coming up when he was
Good.
favoriting something.
Yeah, what was wrong there?
APR for that. So yeah, so what was happening there was let me find the image here just so it's easier to explain. Yeah, so Jerry got into this.
Yeah,
He favorited something, but there's no next button down here.
yeah.
So what was happening was the coin flipping and coming up here animation. It had like an if case that if the action was canceled for some reason, it would not call the on finish in the animation. And there is a little switch that when the animation finishes, it shows the button, so it appears here in the bottom.
Okay.
So I made it so no matter what happens to the animation, there's always gonna be an on finish on the animation, so the button will always be here.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
It's resolved.
yeah.
Okay,
And the
good.
most important part is having the button to be there. So even if like the animation is canceled for some reason or something happens, there might be like a glitch on the animation, but the button will always be available for the user, so it doesn't hurt their
Okay.
usability that much like this in Jerry that hit stuck.
Okay, good. Um, did you and Amin discuss the other thing at all yesterday?
No, sorry.
Okay.
I
So
will.
what else
I will.
did you end up doing yesterday?
Yeah, we did this fix, then this, and I'll also be doing some analytics for what's it? To send separately, ignore and add suggestions. So we
Right.
added the functionality, but we don't have analytics for that.
Okay. Well, we need to finish. You can't. We can't have a complete PR here for review until we finish that screen, and it's not a good experience when you scroll and all the buttons disappear. Like you can't. There's no cancel button or anything after that because the buttons and the search bar disappear when as soon as you scroll the list.
Mm-hmm.
So you needed a means help on that. That's where I left you guys off yesterday. I was
Oh, I
expecting
thought
you to do
we were left off yesterday for fixing the animation
all of the above.
about Jerry.
All of the above. That's why I said I want you guys to stay here together and get these things knocked out. You said you couldn't do it without someone's help. So how was it going to get done without asking for the help? This it was just I don't want to just not have it get done. I want it done.
Sure
So
thing.
so I mean we need your help on something. Can you show them Wells, please? Where you the situation? Do you have your emulator here on the right? Where
You
did
said
yeah? Where did your emulator go?
it is here.
Okay. So you want to favorite something?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I mean, are you here?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. He needs some assistance on this. It's probably not even a big deal. So after you favorite, come to this screen here. That button on the bottom where his cursor is, go back. Okay. But you put your cursor there. So where it says add friend, you tap on
Mhm.
that and it brings up a list of friends here. So this is a list of people you could also share the movie with. Everything looks good except for one thing. If you scroll, you lose like if it's a long list, you will completely lose everything above it. So like no cancel button, no save button, the search bar is gone, the header. So I basically just want the scroll view underneath the search bar. That's it. And the search bar and everything above it stay fixed.
Yeah, that depends on how the draw is being done. Can you send me the code? Like, where's the code of that to see?
Yeah, I gotta check that. Everything I tried regarding setting like this, like the flash list here, a fixed height or anything else for having this fixed, didn't work.
I guess
Uh,
you have everything in a scroll view. That's why you should only
yeah,
have.
there's everything in the scroll wheel.
Well, the header should not be in a
Yeah,
scroll view.
that the motto is this new component. I mean, it is the
Yeah, Ismail made a new modal component, which is working very well.
yeah the drawer model.
But it's a little different. So you're using the one Ismail made, right, Wells?
Yes, sir. I'm using the one that's made.
Oh, like the render header one. Oh, so the render header it's not possible to flash list. So it's okay.
Yeah.
Let's go inside the drawer modal, like the components itself.
Okay.
And let's see the container. What is it?
Oh, wait,
Content.
this is the content. Yeah, the container is this.
No. The content is this.
Wait, if
Okay.
it is the model, it is this. If not, it is the content. So it's either the model container or the model component.
So you're not passing modal, right? Which is false.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So
False.
it's gonna fall back to that, and that it has a scroll view in it. You see that scrollable one, like
Scrollable.
line 171.
I see.
So maybe you need to set that to false.
I see, indeed. So if I do scrollable false, and then I add the scroll to the list container, that could work. Awesome.
Look at that. See, I knew it wasn't even gonna be that hard. So good job, both of you. Is there anything else here, I mean, that needs to be done? Or is that
No, I guess that's it for me. It just need now to fix the siding. Because you can see the siding's not that good anymore because
Yeah,
the
drop a little bit.
yeah the first siding was being made as an assumption. This is a scroll view. Scroll view has a preset siding. Now since this is a view, you need to apply the siding back. And I guess if you go back to that draw model, if you and you go to this that scroll view, uh okay, go to those. You see, let me see. There is this. You see that content container style.
Yep.
You flex screen. Maybe you want that to have it in your container. No, copy it and have it in your container. So maybe
Yes, yes.
so you get your size back.
Okay, so
Oh,
I
nope.
would have that on a container around everyone here.
Me, yeah. No. So okay, it doesn't work. So I thought that would make it work easier for you, but I think now you just have to look the side and then fix the side. And so
Yep. Just
Yeah,
just
it's not even
basically-
really that bad, but I mean, wouldn't
yeah.
hurt to
I
get
think
it.
just getting the stuff here a little bit higher already helps.
Oh yeah, I mean, just having it not scroll away is very helpful. Um, yeah, it would be nice to be able to close that gap a little bit, but it's not the worst thing ever.
Okay.
What I don't want is to create any extra complications. Do you think? I mean, is it pretty easy? Do you think to continue to fix the styling here to get it to move up a little higher?
yeah, it's easy. Like since it knows the style in here, so he knows where what to change and where to change. So it's not. It's just like a matter of changing margins and all of that.
Right. Okay. Well, isn't it where that red box is? Isn't the cutoff for because like there's an arch? Ismail made this drawer, but there's an arch there. Maybe the bottom of the arch is not really. Maybe the bottom is actually where the red is.
Yeah.
So
And
like,
for that,
Everything is starting from the red below.
yeah.
you
So you
have the
have to
draw.
actually. Sorry, go ahead. I mean.
Yeah, I was just gonna say you have the draw model there. That's like you to understand everything how it is. You need to look inside that model as well, so you get the full idea of the site and how it's been done.
Indeed.
Yeah, there. Like you see how it's like in the content. Like go like scroll top to the top. No, like to the view here. Like yeah, you see how it's like scrollable through, not do falls. You see that content.
Mm-hmm.
You not that one. The view. Yeah. So you see there's some styles that being applied. So you go inside of it. You see, yeah, there is the padding 20
Mhm.
and this
That's
one.
it. Yeah.
Oh, there we
But
go.
you cannot just remove it
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah. I know, I know.
it's been used. So find your way out on how to override this only in your case.
Well, maybe
Sure.
I'm curious what Ismail does because he did this drawer for like events. How did you get Ismail? How did you get the content to be closer to the top of the arch?
Hey, so sorry, I was a little work on something else. We're talking about the drawer model.
Yeah.
We're
How do you,
talking about the content to be. Is it closer to the top of the arch?
So yeah,
yeah,
when
on your
when
event?
it's scrollable, it doesn't have this padding, so that's why it's closer.
Mm, what doesn't have the padding?
Yeah, I will. What I think I'm doing is I think I'm adding a prop there for you to personalize the content styles. So when it is not scrollable,
Mhm.
we can have custom styles there, and I can pass like a padding 0 to override this without changing the main component.
Mm, okay. Let me just see something here. So if we go to events, yeah, if we go to events, it's not much. It's not any closer. That space is always left for the padding.
Okay. I noticed the padding also is affecting the left and right margins. Like if you comment that out real quick, see how
Oh,
it's
because padding is all around.
yeah. Would it be okay to comment that out, or would that be a problem?
Um. Well, like I said, he would basically comment it out conditionally, so it won't be throughout the whole app. It'll just be
Right. Because this is a shared component.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
There's
So
another one.
commenting it out here comments it out everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't want that. So how do you do it conditionally?
I will add here like a custom content styles, and here I add the padding 0, and then I just have to make this drawer model accept conditional styles for the content. So then whenever we need to change something for the content, we can change it locally without having to change it for everyone, which is commenting here.
Okay, yeah. Does that sound right, Ismail?
Yeah. Should we say?
Okay. I have a question about this drawer because now that you've made this custom component, would there be a benefit of using it like on the map? Like would we get any better performance? Or I mean the drawer on the map already works, but perhaps I don't know, is it possible that with the wheel and that drawer component is any like instability that would go away with this one?
I'm not sure I follow. Where would you use this in the map?
You know, if you go to the map, there's a subcategory wheel and drawer.
Oh, you want to put the wheel inside this drawer?
I'm wondering if there's any benefit to doing that. Would there be any, like, is it possible that there's instability? Because I remember when that was all made, it was complicated. And when you made this drawer, I think your goal was to make it simple. But I don't know if it makes any difference. Maybe they're both just about the same. But would there be a benefit? Is my question.
I don't know. I think Amit can speak for that better since he worked on that wheel in that drawer.
Yeah, because
I
I mean, you know how we're having trouble with the map. You know, like I don't know. It's just always just it feels fragile. Would this drawer component be more stable?
The draw is just a container. It has nothing to do like with the instability of the map. If it's gonna be, maybe it's the wheel and how it's interacting with the map. But the draw is just like a way of how we presenting the wheel.
Okay.
And like, did you make the draw from scratch? Like, really from scratch, or like
Yeah, I
you're
think
like,
Ismail made it from scratch, right?
Oh, you're asking me? Yeah, I made it from scratch.
okay. If it's like from scratch, I'm sure it's gonna be different than the one we have in the first one.
Mm-hmm. But would there be any benefit?
No, I think the drawer is just like a container. It would not. It just presents views and elements.
Yeah,
But if it's like what we suspecting, it's gonna be the wheel.
the wheel, which is obviously separate from the drawer. Is there any connection between the wheel and the drawer? They don't depend
No,
on each other.
No, they're not.
Okay. Just wondering. Okay, cool. Then another question we have, Jerry, was thinking there's a front end issue with something being parsed, some information being parsed incorrectly for a book, and it caused the Discover feed to crash.
Yeah, let me share that. Was it the Bible in a year? Let me share this with the development chat. But y'all, if y'all could check that log that I sent. In the feed, it looks like that it's trying to parse a date, and maybe that date's null or something. And it was expecting there to be a date there. and because it was expecting a date to be there, the parsing failed and it caused a crash.
I mean, what do you think of that? Does that make sense so far?
If we're expecting something, so there's two ways. Like when we're expecting something, it's like the first way is like you telling the app, "Hey, I'm sure there will be something called this," and if it's not, break. And there's the other way. It's like, I'm not sure. Sometimes it's gonna be there, sometimes it's not gonna be there. So just don't break.
Did you check the Sentry link I sent?
Let me see what's going on.
This is it's format publish date method. We're trying to split the date on a dash, and it says that date's undefined.
Okay, yeah. So that's what's going on. So like the date is coming in a format that it's not good, not. I mean, not format, but like the date is coming in undefined or not, so it's missing, and it's trying to do this split on it. So that's why. I think the fix will be easy, but depends on how we want it to be. Like, let me see. Yeah, the date is coming in. No, because book of content. The published date, yeah. So, um, like the published date can be null for books.
Um,
I'm trying to figure out
well,
if it's a book or a podcast because I'm looking through the log and it said, "Oh yeah, this is a book."
Yeah.
Are we not splitting up a podcast by for example, the very previous we're calling for a podcast.
Well, this format publish days, it's a function that's being called only for books.
Okay.
Because it's like it's inside this component and the component called profile book.
Mhm.
And also we're accessing the publish date from a volume info. So this is like a book field. So we have published dates that are like could be missing, then we need to take that into consideration because we're not. We're like
yeah,
the pub-
imagine there may be some records where the published date isn't provided.
yeah,
So we need to handle it without crashing, right?
yeah, we can do that. Yeah,
Okay. Is that something you can do?
yeah.
Okay. Do you need any other information?
Probably just the book, the profile book that was squashing this. Like if you know it.
Yeah, Jerry, you sent that in development.
Well, what I see, I'm trying to figure out which one it would be here. You're on John. You're on your feed, and it is. Let's see.
I think it's the Bible because there's like if you look in the century issue sent me,
Right.
the logs, there's one. Oh, that's for
Yeah,
podcast.
podcast.
Okay,
Maybe if you like go on John's feed and you paginate for a very long time, you could see it.
But
Like,
I didn't favorite that like someone else did. I was looking at Discover feed.
it was on your Discover feed. That's what I'm saying. You go on John's Discover feed and like you set the requesting user key to John and go see if you can go back a few days.
mm. Can you not like do like a query on your side on your
I mean, I could see that's because I don't know what page it's on. Like I don't right now because this was 4 days ago.
I mean like not specific for John, but like the query to get all the books that we have in the database.
Oh, all the books. Yeah, well, that would probably be coming from our external API.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So if I look up our books table, yeah, we don't track the published year.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I see. I see. Um. Well, I'll fix it. I know the fix, so I'll fix it, and I'll try to see if I find any book with no published date, so I can be sure that this is fixed.
Yeah. Well, first, did you recreate it?
No, because I cannot find that book.
I can tell you the user
Okay.
favorited it. I'm 99% sure. Let me just double check. And what was it we thought it was? A podcast called The Bible in a Year? Is that what it was?
Not it
And
was close to it, right?
It was what?
They were like close, like it's one after the other, but it's not a podcast. It is a book that crashed the app.
It's a book? Okay.
Yeah.
Jerry, what's the name of that book?
I don't know the name of the book. That's the thing. Like, I don't see it in the logs, and it's just somewheres on your feed. I don't know if you could like go on your Discover feed and just like go back.
It's a scroll, yeah.
Maybe
Well,
the Big Magic, or you just favorited that? Because I have like you favorited from the John Test phone. You favorited the book like 14 hours ago. It's called The Big Magic.
is that the one on my test phone?
Uh, for me it works fine. Like the app is not crashing, and I can see a published dates. The published date is there.
Uh-huh. Okay. Well, I went to the user who I thought it was, and I saw that podcast. I didn't see a book, but I saw the podcast by that name and did not crash. I'm scrolling through my Discover feed now. Let's see what happens. Was it on my test phone, Jerry, that happened? Or production? I can't remember.
It says production.
Right, production. Okay. Hmm. How many days ago was that?
4 days ago.
Okay.
And the last thing I see on your feed before it goes white is friendship card. Looks like Ava Williamson and Joe Gillis are now friends.
Okay.
Maybe that could give us some insight.
Let's see. Because it would be like the next one after that.
Right. Because I see the spinner underneath it, and then it goes white.
Right. Yeah. Oh, I just went white. Dang it. Well, I'm recording, but I don't know if I'm gonna catch
Okay.
it.
Did you get to Joe Gillis?
I'll tell you in a
Joe
second.
Williamson?
The very last thing. Joe Gillis checked into Chill Sacramento. Wait, let me edit this because it's so long. It's really hard to go frame by frame.
Let's see. And a friend created. Is this it? Is this the date? Who is he following?
Well,
Yeah,
the thing is,
so I found the date is friend created. The friendship card was created the UTC time March 21st, 11:17 a.m. So this would be like what is that? 5 a.m. Pacific or something? Like 4 a.m. Pacific time.
Yeah, I mean I have 2 friendship cards here and then it goes white screen. So I don't really know.
Yeah. Well,
Maybe somebody else favored it since then too. Like, is that possible?
I don't know. I mean, can you
This was 4 days ago. It crashed again. Did it give you the same
let me
error?
let me see.
So I mean, you definitely can go to if you go to my account and scroll on my Discover
Well,
feed.
that was same error. So yeah, go on John's account. Like
Yeah, you have to go down a
the-
bunch of paginations because it's 4 days down
Is it production or
production.
okay? I'm not on production.
Is Ahmed able to look into this at all too? Because he's just been able to resolve some of these before. Ahmed, are you following what's going on here?
Yes, little bit I'm following you. Yeah.
Yeah, we've had these issues before where like one of the feed cards crashes the feed because something, one of the pieces of data isn't there.
Okay.
Um, what could you look into, Jerry? There,
I mean, if you want to try and pull Discover feed query and see if we can
Okay.
find a specific book.
I'll check. John now.
yeah, it's in development, right? The book that we suspect it is.
Oh, wait, what book do we think it is?
I don't know. I thought you sent it in Discover feed.
And I don't know what. I don't know which.
Some clue like John. It is crashing for you.
Yeah, it's crashing for me in the Discover feed. Something.
And how many after how many record it is crashing? Like how many like when you like can you please tell me some like do you have recording?
Yeah, you'll have to go back 4 days. Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Okay. I'll check.
I have a recording here.
Yeah.
1 second. It's preparing the video here. Okay, sending. Still sending. And I mean, you're looking into like just a fix. It sounds like there needs to be a fix regardless because sometimes there isn't a published date.
Yeah,
So you're gonna take care of that.
yeah, we did.
Okay.
I'm checking and give me some.
Okay. I'm looking at what you just sent. Let's be honest. Can you share your status now?
Yeah, making it go left was a pain. It's not cooperating the way I thought it would.
It looked better before. It's
Yeah.
doing something weird now. Like, because now it's coming in from the left to the right.
Well, it was going before. It was going. It goes. It
Wait,
goes left, then it goes back because initially, like well, I guess what I was thinking, it initially comes in from the right, and then it just keeps going right, and then it came back to left. The thing is with this animation making it go right, it's like if I just use a simple like so. Let's see here.
Maybe the way it
There's
was before is okay. It's just a little faster. Maybe.
okay, because so here's what the weird thing. Like all this time, we've been I've been trying to get this to work. There's something that calls entering and exiting with these props, and when I'm making it go right, it seems like it's going smoothly. When making it go exiting the other side left, it's not going all the way. So I have to add all these like
Oh yeah, don't worry.
weird thing. Yeah.
I don't want to overcomplicate it. Okay, so the way it was before, let's just speed it up to 250 milliseconds.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, send me a screen record when
Um,
you get that one done.
Yeah. Let me.
Wells, you had a question?
No, sir. Just wanted to give the guys a heads up that there are 3 PRs open currently for the 3 main issues I have worked.
Oh,
So
good.
there's 1 PR for the points earned animation finished. So it will not block the next button on the favorite flow. So Jerry will not see that screen again.
Okay.
And also for the Spotlight Entertainment search, just like you wanted. So everything is there. We now show the user a message if there are no searches. We show only the searches as a result, and the search will work for both favorites and check-ins. So that's all there. And also, what we just work right now on having the drawer header being pinned on the send separately flow when you go add another friend. That is also here. So the changes to the drawer is now made for having the custom styles and then adding these custom styles to the header on the send separately are also for review.
Okay. So yeah, you were able to get that style to look good and just be conditional to that one screen.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So that we should be all set with that new flow, the improved feature, right? Where you can now send separately but add more people.
Think so.
Yeah, it's all set. Anything else you can think of like for it?
Yeah. Anything else I can think of missing?
Okay, great. Very good, very good. I want to get that in. Okay, I'll have them review, and then you're going to add some analytics. It sounds like.
Yes, sir.
All right, very good. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Okay, so I mean, let me know when you're done on that, and then there's another front end issue too, right, Jerry? Let's see. Um, oh yeah, navigating. We need the deep link to navigate to the entertainment profile. Were you working on with Ismail on that already? I think you did. Jerry.
Yeah, I think I worked with this on that notification reminder to just go to the check-in screen.
Yeah.
Ismail, do you recall that?
Are you talking about the new deep link?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I never got to it. I do remember it though.
Got it.
I can work on this after I'm done here. I'm almost done.
Let's do that next when you're done with the dog animation thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And
And
then
we also need to look at the subscriptions for the big groups. That one's important.
yeah,
Maybe that first, then this one.
yeah, that's another one. And then there's another one. So Jerry, the user count is gonna like there's not enough room for the word people, right? If it goes over 10,000.
Yes.
think
I
we
think
might-
it's just like you're saying at like 1,000,
Yeah.
but we need to do rounding on the front end side to take the number of members that we have and then round it to like 1,000, 2,000, 3,000.
We're at 9,999 right now. That's funny. Could add one more person.
Yeah, well, yeah. Reason we figured this out was we made a test group in where is it?
Yeah, you sent a screenshot. I guess it doesn't even matter how big your phone is. It's like always going to do that because the character limit.
I'm on a Pro Max, so I mean it's as big as
Yeah, that's about as big as going to get. So okay. All right. So that would need a front end fix. Maybe we could have Amin fix that one when he's done.
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, cool. 1 second.
Yeah, right now I think I might actually have something that week that could go in partially without a front end. I'm looking into that. Remember that I was telling you that huge like scaling issue with the chat stuff and the message count. I think I have a solution to that locally, and it'll help us out with a couple other things too. But we'll see how that works if I push it up into QA.
Sorry, Jerry. What was that? I got distracted here.
You remember how I was saying there's that kind of like a big issue that we have to address for the unread message count?
Yeah.
I think I got a fix for that locally.
The unread, is that the thing that's making the subscription run too many times?
Right.
Okay, so you might not even need the front end.
No, we're gonna need front end for like the full end-to-end fix. But I have an issue that will help. So there's two parts here. Like I said, that anytime anything ever happens in chat in any group, every user who's in the app, regardless if you're in that group or not, gets the subscription push.
Mhm.
And when the front end receives the push, they call a query to fetch the number of messages that you have unread. But this happens like I said, anytime anything happens in any group.
So
Ever.
that's a lot of work happening.
Unnecessary work.
Right.
Because it's also for groups that you're not a part of.
Right.
I mean, this is
overkill.
Yeah, this is a subscription that is OG chat,
Okay.
very, very old. Before my time, and really just kind of flared up in Century because we had 1,000 people in the app at the same time. So
Okay, so then, but you don't need the front end to fix it.
hold on. Not so fast. I got a little more to explain. So
Okay.
whenever the front end receives that query, that subscription, sorry, it calls a query to fetch the updated count. So what I'm doing from my end is I'm actually correctly filtering out the users that receive the subscription. So it's only relevant to people in that group. So what will happen is the front end will, there will be less subscriptions that the front end receives. But what I've also added is now in the subscription payload, I'm actually sending you the amount to set the value to. So I don't have the front end doesn't have to call the query, but what it has to do now is update it to use my updated subscription body that when you receive it, you don't call the query and instead you just use what's in the subscription payload.
I see.
So it will help it will immediately help the excess querying for people that it doesn't apply to. But then I also have an extra layer of optimization that's going to have prevent the need for querying at all. You'll just get the new value and replace it.
Okay. So what do you need done?
What do I need? I'm pushing it to QA right now, and I'm gonna see if it just works. like if it just works as
So
far
it may work without the front end needing to change.
we need front end.
We do need front end. Okay.
Yeah,
What do you need from them?
once I can confirm that this new subscription is working, I need an update to that subscription logic from the front end to use the data that's in the payload and not call the query.
Okay. Amin, did you catch any of that?
No, but like, are you talking about the subscription we're doing?
There's a subscription. I sent it to you in Ismail yesterday.
Yeah, I read that.
Yeah. That subscription, anytime we get I don't even know if we should call it a payload. Anytime we get a subscription from there, we're calling a query for get unread message count. Do you see that?
Let me look at that. Yeah, we refetch every time we get the subscription trigger.
Yeah, and okay, so right now what it's doing, is I don't know if you heard, but anytime any chat activity happens in the app, everybody has to call refetch at the same time, whether you're in a group or not. It just happens. Anyone who's in the app has to refetch, and that's why we've been seeing this query called sometimes, a couple times while we're testing in QA. This is exactly what it is. It wasn't that somebody was working in a chat group that we were in. It was, anything was going on in chat.
Mm-hmm.
It was causing tens of thousands of extra calls these last few days with all this activity we're having.
Mhm.
So,
what I'm doing is I'm updating the subscription to, first of all, only call when it needs to be called. Like, you won't get a subscription if you aren't part of the group. So that will reduce the calls that we need to do, like the modifications or fetches. But now I'm also passing a payload with the correct value to update. So we don't even need to call
Oh.
refetch.
Oh, that's nice. So we don't have to do a refresh. We're just like gonna
Yep.
update the cache directly.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be honest, it wasn't the original implementation was I'm sorry if the person who made it is in the call right now, but it was kind of lazy.
but we're fixing it.
Did it?
And
I
what
haven't
do
looked
you,
at the
what do
code,
you
but
need to do?
what I need to do is once I confirm it working in QA, he's going to take he's going to update that subscription logic to not call refetch and instead just use the number that's in my payload.
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, great. Also, I need your help on something. On the main chat, there's a number. It says like 500 people, like how many people are in the chat.
Can you give me just a second? I need to write this down.
Yeah.
Let's see.
All right, I'll be pushing this into QA right now. Let's see.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, John.
Yeah. So the number of people under the main chat, it turns out if the number goes over 10,000, the
Mhm.
word people disappears. I'll show you a screenshot.
Yeah, I saw like in the
Uh,
develop. We
yeah.
want to rounded pretty numbers.
Yeah. Can you do 10K plus?
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah.
Okay. Can you make it go 11K plus, like in increments of 1,000?
I thought like the 10K it's gonna be like this. But before it, we're not gonna specify if it's 9,000 data only.
Right. Only once it gets to 10K.
Well,
But then
why not stop at 1K? Do we really want to? Because it's hard to track when you get into like the thousands. I almost feel like it's fine when we get to 1K, but
well, wait. To answer Amin's question, yeah, we don't leave it exactly how it is until you get to 9,999.
Okay.
We'll show the whole number. But then when it gets to 10,000, it'll say 10K plus. But I'd like it to then increase every 1,000. So it should say 11K plus, 12K plus, and so on.
Okay.
Okay. And then we have another thing after that. Let me know when you're done with that one.
All right. I mean, to do it right now, just like because I'm taking notes.
Might as well do it now. We have a chat that just went over 10,000, and I want to get it in the next build.
And sorry, is 40 seconds the what we agreed on for safety, or do we want 30, 40, what's the
45.
final number?
Yeah, go
45.
45.
Okay. All right. And that should be the last part of the onboarding. Now we can move on to subscriptions. Do you want to tackle next?
Yeah. So Jerry, the subscription. Well, we just talked to Amin about it, right? Is that the same thing, Jerry? The subscription.
Wait,
model?
what are you talking about? Are you talking about the chat showing up in the thread?
No, I was talking about subscription not working when you have the groups, or if potentially that's the problem.
Yeah, what you messaged me on earlier, right, Ismail?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. Okay. This is a different subscription. Did Ismail, you had the chance to test that and see if it was like firing in that chat?
I did not do any testing. I was just telling John that I am done with the onboarding and I'm going to move on to subscriptions now. So he was telling me that's what I mean. He was talking about Udemy, but I think it's not the same thing.
Yeah, is it the same
Sorry,
thing?
John
Jerry?
just assumed you guys were talking about the chat subscription. You guys are not talking about the in chat subscription. You guys are talking about the message account subscription. Like those are two different things.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, John, they're two different things basically. No. It's
Okay.
not.
So yeah, the messages don't always show up like in the conversation. And then also when they do show up, or like sometimes I'll tap a notification or a message and then I'll go back to the lobby. I'll still have that unread red dot, next to it in the lobby. So there's still like a little bit of something's still a little off. Like
Fix that.
I think we probably
Well,
did it.
that one does have to do with the back end. I remember also that which has to mark it as red if it was successfully subscribed. So that one could have to do with the subscription Jerry's talking about right now, right, Jerry? That's the subscription you have is the one that triggers the message as red if you were subscribed, the message count.
No,
Or
it's
not connected.
Yeah, that's not connected.
I see.
I'll tell you what's common. Like if someone joins the group and I go back to the lobby, it looks like there's an unread message sometimes.
Yeah. So they joined the group. Yes, we might have to look at that because what I came to learn is that the backend handles there's a subscription that handles marking that as read if you're inside the message. So maybe adding something that doesn't trigger it. So that's something you should look into. Me and Jerry or Amit whoever will find out.
You got a little
Also, huh?
You were a little bit muffled. Say that again.
I was saying what I've learned is that when we're inside the chat and we're subscribed, the backend is actually marking these as read and unread. So maybe adding someone doesn't trigger the red,
Right.
or the message count, or or whatever it is. So what I said is I can. So you said the way to reproduce it is to add someone in a group chat and then go back to the lobby.
I think that's one way. I think there's also it does happen with messages occasionally too. I mean, I'm certain it does. Like I'll be in a chat.
Yeah.
I'll get the notification that a message came in, but there's no message in the conversation.
That's different. Okay, so now you're confusing me.
Those are
We're talking about there's a red dot problem and there's not receiving the message problem.
right. There's two different things.
Yeah.
Want to start with the message one, like it not showing. Like I'll get the notification, so I can read the message. I see it, a notification, but then I'm in that exact conversation, but there's no message in the conversation unless I go back to the lobby and then come back in, then it's there.
Yeah, correct. So, yeah, I can start with that one. Jerry, is Ismail part of that group? Ismail, you does, but I don't think Tess is.
I added like a bunch of users. I mean, I can just add it right now if it isn't.
Yeah, because I've tried to add it myself, but because of that search is a little the search for members right now is a little broken. I fixed it with the debounce. I'm having a hard time, so if you could just please add it.
Okay, you need Ismail Test in there or Ismail AU?
Yes. Ismail was already in those tests. Oh wait, Sacramento Arrows. I am in here. Okay, I am in here. It shows 1,000 or 11,000 people are there, right?
Yeah,
100.
1192.
11.
So
Yeah.
weirdly enough, I sent a message in there from Ismail Test, but it looks like it did not go through the message itself. So I'm gonna send test right now. Yeah, that message did not go through.
I got tests from Ismail Ayu.
Oh wait, it just came through. That took such a long time. Okay, interesting. That took extra long.
Did that like
Mm,
in what is it? Uh,
I mean, normally it's instant. That took a bit.
okay, so let,
And I
let,
sent the message. I sent the message earlier today, but that one did not go through. Let me see. Yeah, I don't see it, even though I'm pretty sure I sent it.
let me see what happens. Yeah, that took 2.5 seconds to create. That is a little longer than I'd like.
25 seconds.
No, 2.5, sorry.
2.5 seconds. Okay. So just a quick question, John. When you saw the notification and you didn't see the message, did you leave the chat instantly and come back?
No, I waited a while.
Oh,
Okay.
I think so that payload Ismail is returning 1.4 megabytes. So you know what that tells me? That you're requesting all the group members in the create message query.
Let me see. That could be the case. All right, so let's go ahead and look at the network. Let me send another one here.
Yeah, no, you got
Yeah,
your
that's
in here. And if let's say if I
nice.
pull it out, let's see what happens.
I got what now in there?
You're requesting the group members, the members for the group.
Oh, the group members inside the query itself. I see. Okay, so it's being okay. Um, yeah, and we're using create message here.
Yeah. So why do we need that? So let me go in here now and say hello. Or he. I mean, that still took 2 seconds. So something else I need to look at for speed wise. But my response payload is 1.4 kilobytes and not 1.4 megabytes.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to make that
see.
change first of all.
Yeah. So let's go to now. It's probably going to be in multiple places, but first one we need to tackle is create message v2, and you said we are meaning the group. Well, you talk about the group altogether, or just the members in particular? Is that what we don't want?
I think that's one step is to not include the members. But I see that the query is taking a long time in this group, which means that it may be iterating something over the group, like over each group member. I don't know what it's iterating, but I can find out.
Okay. So for step one, just to be kind of on the safer side, I'm going to start with removing members in all these mutations. Hopefully we are not using them and this won't break anything to test it. But yeah, let's remove members from all these.
I'm just going to be sending messages. Okay, locally that took me 1.8, 800 milliseconds, 890. Send message should be a lot faster though. There's no reason it should take that long. Yeah. So what am I iterating over in that group? I'll look into that.
Okay, and I removed I'm removing member from all the mutations. Well, I think it's theoretically should be safe to remove it from all the mutations, right?
I would say unless we're using that to like create a group or something.
True. Let me just remove it from one place at a time. I don't want to break anything. Removing it from all the mutations is gonna mean a lot of testing. So I'm gonna remove it from create message for now only. And then I'm slowly gonna remove the other ones after we make sure this one's safe. Yeah, create message v2. Okay. I'll hit that. But do you think that, Jerry, that could have anything to do with the problem we're seeing, where John is not seeing his message within bigger groups? Like it's probably related to the mutation.
Possibly. I'm not entirely sure though.
Okay. I
Good.
sent the message. It took me 3 seconds to send that message.
Yeah, which means that there's still something I need to check.
Yeah, but the payload is a lot lighter and there was no errors. So I think we're good. Let's see now. Yeah. I think we're good. Yeah. But yeah, we need to maybe so let's after Jerry's done, John, maybe we can test it again and see if you're receiving every single message.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll go from there.
Okay.
Because I don't think it's a front end error because on smaller groups it's working, on big groups it's not, and if it's not showing, but if you go back and then you leave it and go back, that tells me the subscription did not successfully
Yeah. So this
get triggered.
few minutes. So you want to work asynchronously on the next item. I'm also trying to grab some food right now.
But also, Jerry, do you think the subscription could have anything like this? So this is the mutation, not be taking a while to trigger. But in John's case, he got the notification indicating that the mutation went through, but he did not see it indicating that the subscription did not give him back that data. So what you're doing is good. It would make messages faster.
Yeah,
But that's still
I still think that there's something that needs to be looked into.
yeah, as far as the subscription itself, because it did go through. Like the mutation did register the message. Because first of all, he got the notification. Second of all, he went back to the lobby and back in, he saw it.
I'll probably find out when I'm in the code.
Okay, cool. And yeah, just keep me updated on that.
Yep.
And if you need any help, well, that's my top priority. Now, since you're working on that, I'm gonna shift gears to that new deep link that we want to. But you said you also with that deep link, you said you also wanted some like specific behaviors, which let's maybe after I get it working, we can talk about. Because you said you want like add filters to that screen, what to show, what not to show, and so
Maybe
on.
not, yeah, maybe not a filter, but I just want to know like if we can change the tab. Like we can go to movies, shows, podcasts, or games from a deep link.
I see. Yeah, I can probably find a way to achieve that. Let me first land on it. So the deep link, how would it look? Is it still gonna look like this,
Send it to me.
or are you gonna add more data to it?
Maybe let's add it as like a parameter. So check in. Maybe something like that, or check in. Sorry. So like add that parameter at the end, and like by default, let's just do movie.
Okay. Okay.
Well, hold on. Check-in seems That seems generic. Like we want there's going to be an entertainment check-in and then there's place check-in. So we want to make sure that we keep the option open for places too, even though they use a completely different screen. I don't want to overcomplicate things, but I just know check-in, you can check in to either a place or an entertainment.
You can. Now let me see. To access that check-in screen, how do you access it from the app?
Like
Um,
do check in on the bottom
This-
and place.
no, not do a check-in. I'm talking about more of accessing the check-ins to see. Because like this typically is not gonna take you to that to check into a place. It's gonna take you to the check-ins that people already did.
Hmm.
How do we get to that again?
Wait, okay, hold on. You're saying to check into a place?
No, I'm saying the deep link is going to take you to the check-ins, which we have different tabs: movie, shows, podcasts, books, games.
Yeah, wait. Let's make sure we're on the same page. That screen is where I want this deep link that I'm asking to end up.
Yeah, how do we access that screen currently in the app? Like
That
if
would
I want to
be
go to it, where would I go? How would I use the UI
check-in.
to get to that screen?
That would be check-ins, entertainment, and then it comes in with the wheels. But yeah, it shows like your check-ins and all, but we want to end up on that screen where they can search for a specific profile.
Okay, now I'm looking. Okay, how do we get to that screen using our current UI, the app?
Okay, so you go to home.
Okay.
Follow with you. So you go home, and then there's the check-in on the second from the left. And then
Second from the left. This check-in. What do you mean second from the left from where?
on the nav bar at the bottom.
Oh, okay.
Entertainment.
Oh, I see. Okay. But then, so this is only for entertainment. It will not include places.
Right. For now, this is what the notification's going to do. It's just the after watching TV notification.
Okay, so when would we get this notification?
It's right now, it's one of the notifications that we schedule when you onboard. So it'd be like the first day you onboard, we send it to you like at 7 p.m. As you to
I
start.
was saying like check in and like so it takes you to the screen so you can check in.
Mm-hmm.
I see. Okay. Okay, cool.
Okay, so Amit had a question, I think. What's up, Amit? Any luck?
Yes, sir. So I'm sharing my screen.
Okay.
So I call that API, Discover Feed API. And like here, Monday morning, like we will see after Monday morning. Just a minute here. Two friendship is there. You will see, you can see that. Yeah, two friendship, Jim, Lesel, and Kyle Radio are now friends. So here
Yep.
after Monday morning, so this is the
Mhm.
morning, then check in, friends. So here, Kyle Radio and Jim Dolezal become friend. That is coming. Next
Okay.
is next again friend Kyle Radio and Jacob. That is also coming. Jacob. It's not Krasna here.
Which one? Which one's doing it?
Uh, yes, that is also the Jacob
Jacob,
Longino and Red Radio.
that's
That
is that crashing it or the next one's
no,
crashing?
no, next is casting.
Yeah.
That is coming.
By the way, real quick, why right there, all that information, null. Is that all that information? Does it slow down the Discover feed? Like, do we need all that information passed?
Yeah, we need that because that's what builds the cards. Like all that information is like what builds the
But so many nulls.
Yeah,
well,
that is
it's our
that is-
standardized format.
Okay.
So based on the activity that they are forming the card, like hey, activity is fair now. So
Yeah.
based on the activity they are taking.
But this is
I think
this is a friendship card, so like we don't need all that other stuff, right?
but this is like our constant format, like Jerry said. We need to return. So be none.
Is that the best architecture, Jerry?
Okay, I'm going to say that there is another way to do this,
Okay.
but hold on, I'm going to follow it with it's not the most important thing to do.
We're talking like minimal gain, in other words.
Correct.
Okay.
What we could do is GraphQL allows us to define types, and each type we could pass like different cards. Like we're doing that for like some queries like where we need to grab external
Profile.
and internal members, like profile, where we can like select certain fields from that model. But I'm gonna just be outright and say that there is going to be very minimal gain to the effort that we would put in for it.
So even at scale, like if this was 1000x usage, this is not going to be a problem.
No, because we're paginating it. We're fetching 10 at a time.
Yeah.
It's not going to it would be the payload of the response. And like
Okay.
if you look at the top right, the response is 44.3 kb. That's not a lot.
44 kilobytes.
No, yeah, right.
Yeah, that's very low. Maybe we could fetch more than 10.
So we are fetching 20 at a time. I saw it their query. It's fetching 20 at a time.
Are you sure?
Yep, yeah. I saw it in their query.
We are not paginating 20 at a time.
I can see. I will show you.
I will
Discover
check
feed
this
now.
out. Okay, let's see here.
Discover feed. I can see their query. They are fetching how many? 10. Sorry, 10. Sorry, yeah, it's 10.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
10,
Right.
10, yes.
So how come you have 20 on your side?
I passed it, so I can pass.
So you're passing 20
Hmm.
unnecessarily, right?
No, that is the testing purpose only. That's not that better.
Okay. So what is the back end? The back end this whole time has been passing 10 or 20?
However many the front end asks. The front end's asking 10, it's passing 10.
Okay.
That's the purpose of the fetch field, is give it to the requester to ask for how many they want.
But he's changing the back end right now.
No. I'm not
He's not changing anything on the back end.
Oh.
All
It
he's
is
doing
testing.
is he's just asking the back end for more records.
Okay.
He's not changing any code. He's just
Okay.
trying to get more records so he can find that book that's causing the issue.
This
Okay.
is test purpose done. This is like our API testing.
I see.
So here after Monday morning, okay. 1 minute check-in. Then there is 2 friendship card, 1 and 2. Now next is after that 2 friendship card. If you will see the 2 friendship card, and I can it is traffic. It's cash now after 2 friendship card. So after 2 friendship card, next is check-in, and check-in to a book. Copy of the UFC book.
Okay. So
And
that's the
tracking-
one breaking it.
I'm assuming that book is breaking. So like, but we front end can tell which due to which field it is breaking. So back end is
Well-
returning data.
That book, Amit, what's the publish date on that book?
Published date on this book. Volume book. Published date is null.
There you go.
So any book that has a published date null will break the feed. Is that right?
Yep. The only other way that you could fix it from the back end, but then it wouldn't be really correct, is you can like pass like 1900, January 1st, 1900 as a published date if it's null.
I see.
But
I'm wondering if we
that
even
wouldn't be accurate.
I mean,
Let me
just do an empty string would not crash. Yeah, it will be nothing there. I will not crash the app. An empty string.
Okay. Well, we can try that too.
Okay. I'm curious if we even display the publish date. I'm looking for a book right now. Give me a second. Podcast.
Well, if
play.
if we do an empty string, that should be fine.
Okay. I'm just curious if we even display it, like if it's even like pointless to pass that. I still haven't found a book yet. One sec.
I will send the book.
Uh,
The history of UFC book too.
let's see. Here's a book. I don't think we even show a published date. Right?
But app is doing some calculation on this published date. That's why it's crashing.
Yeah, I think
Well, I
we-
guess it says 2022, so I guess that's the published date. So I guess we do show a published date.
well, it looks like a year. We might have the year, but we might not have the date.
I'm not talking about that book. Sorry, just a different book I came across. It has a year, so I'm assuming that's the published date. I mean, it's not like a date; it's just a year. But I assume that's the published date, the year. So, so we're gonna try passing the empty string and then see if it crashes.
Yeah, let's give it a go, Matt.
So we need to deploy then.
What's that?
So like what you are saying, we need to pass empty string here.
Yep. So if published date is null, try an empty string. And then we could just push that into production and see what happens.
Right. Okay.
One minute, let me save my local work first.
While I'm doing that, can I do a? I need to share my screen because I'm about to prepare for breakfast. I have a question.
Okay. It means going to share a screen.
Yep, yep.
Go ahead, Amin. Are you going to share?
Yeah, yeah, I am. One
Okay.
second. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm working on this, the new thing for iOS 18.
Oh yeah.